Hello, Space Cadets, and welcome to Mueller Planetarium, Astronomy at Home. This is Zach Thompson, Planetarium Coordinator at the University of Nebraska State Museum at Morrill Hall in Lincoln, Nebraska, wishing you all clear skies. Today we're going to explore the largest planet in the solar system, Jupiter. Look to the right of your screen for our Jupiter buddy holding up the web address eyes.nasa.gov. We'll be using NASA's Eyes on the Solar System today. You can go to that address and download this for free and explore on your own at home. Here is our home view, and we want to explore the fifth planet from the Sun, so we double-click on Jupiter and fly right up to it. It is important that you have internet connection. This is a visualization software which updates regularly. In order to get those updates, you need to be online. Here is a real picture of Jupiter as it looks now, or at least very recently, a real picture. You see we have a day and a night side. But if you want to look at this all lit up evenly, you can do that so you don't miss out on anything. You can come over here to the right and there is a flood lighting button, and suddenly you see it's all there, more visible for us. There is no up or down in space, so even though it might seem as though Jupiter is upside down, it's not. It all just depends on how we're looking at it. For the sake of this, we are going to flip our orientation so that Jupiter looks how we're more used to seeing it. Well, there is the great red spot, an Earth-sized hurricane that's been going on the planet for at least 300 years. We see these stripes, multicolored stripes in its atmosphere, different chemical components. This is the largest planet. It's so large that everything in the solar system, except for the Sun, would fit inside. It is truly colossal. And even though it's a planet, it more closely resembles the Sun because it's a gas giant. It's made up mostly of hydrogen and helium. If you'd like more information on Jupiter itself, come down here. In the destination window is a letter I for information. And you'll get a menu giving you a good snapshot of the planet and anything else you click on using the software. You can also explore different features of Jupiter. One in particular are the rings, because it does have rings. For a long time, we thought only Saturn had the rings, but it was not until the late 70s, with Voyager going around Jupiter, that we finally saw that it had a ring system, very thin and very dark. And we only saw it because it was backlit by the sun. So it was very fortunate for us to see that. And since that time, we've learned that the four gas giants have their own ring systems, which are different as well. But they are there, and they are incredible. More than just being a neat-looking planet and it's being so huge, we refer to Jupiter and its system of moons as a mini-solar system. When we zoom away from Jupiter a little bit like this, we see kind of a version of our own solar system. Jupiter would be like the Sun at the heart, and then we have four of its largest moons, which are kind of like planets. We call these the Galilean moons, the four largest moons. 400 years ago, Galileo was the first astronomer, the first person to aim a telescope up into the sky, and he included Jupiter in his observations. One of his great discoveries was that Jupiter had moons. He noticed that there were these four bright dots that seemed to change their position around the planet every time he looked at it. And that got him to realize that sure, the Earth could not be the center of the universe because these moons were orbiting Jupiter. They were orbiting something else. They were not going around us. It was a very big discovery. And to this day, you can see these large moons. All you need is a small telescope and clear dark skies. And you'll be able to see what Galileo would have seen. Even write down your own observations or draw what you see, because it is fun to see how they change in real time, their orbits around Jupiter. And they are like planets, meaning they're different. They're special in their own way. We come to the closest of them, Io. And it resembles a pizza. If you look at a pizza, but it really smells like rotten eggs. And that is because this is the most volcanically active body in the solar system. That is because it's so close to Jupiter, which exerts a massive push and pull on the planet that warms it up intensely, and it keeps it very geologically active. It's also home to the largest volcano, active volcano in the solar system, Loki. Farther out from Io is Europa. And you'll see how different this is. It's covered with ice. And below the ice, we've discovered that there is a global ocean of liquid water. Here on Earth, as far as we know, life needs liquid water to survive, to exist. And if we have another place in the solar system that has liquid water, that's a good place for us to explore the possibilities for life beyond Earth. The only way we'll know if there might be life in the ocean of Europa is by sending something that can actually land on the moon, and there are plans for it. If you look close too, you'll notice that there are these stripes on the surface, and that's another result of Jupiter's push and pull. When it pulls and pushes on this moon, it breaks the surface, and then that surface refreezes. It thaws and freezes, thaws and freezes, and so we have these unique striations all across the surface of Europa. Farther out from Europa is the largest moon in the solar system, Ganymede. If Ganymede did not orbit Jupiter and it went around the sun on its own, this would be considered a planet. It's bigger than Pluto and bigger than Mercury. Again, this is a real picture of it. This is no fabrication. It's the real deal. That's part of what makes this software so cool, so fun. Remember, you want more information, click the letter I. And the farthest moon of these four, last but not least, is Callisto. Callisto is the most cratered body in the solar system. And you can see that in this actual image. It's pocked with craters all over the surface, which tells us something interesting. We don't think this moon has changed much since it formed about 4 billion years ago. So in a way, it was formed, and here is how it has looked ever since. It really is like a time capsule of the early solar system. So those are just 4 of Jupiter's moons, 4 of Jupiter's largest moons, and they tell an interesting story, but it shows you just how dynamic this one system is within the solar system as a whole. And there's a great way to remember these 4 moons instead of just committing them to memory like that. Get used to the letters, the first letters in the names. IEGC, or think of it as I eat green caterpillars. Don't actually eat green caterpillars, but just remember Io, Europa, Ganymede, Callisto, I eat green caterpillars, and voila, you can impress everybody with your knowledge of the Galilean moons. Now, how do we know about Jupiter? We have a spacecraft going around it right now called Juno. We also know about it thanks to past missions called Galileo and Voyager, for example. But right now, at the time of this recording, there is Juno. It is going closer to Jupiter than anything we've ever sent before. It's to understand the inner workings of Jupiter, to understand its strong magnetic field, to know what's going on beneath the clouds and the storm systems within this gas giant, and also what's at the heart of Jupiter, what's the core. Is it solid? Is it gas? Some kind of metal liquid? That's what Juno is here to help us answer. And its mission will continue into July of 2021, and after that time, when the mission ends, it will be sent to be vaporized in Jupiter's atmosphere so that we don't accidentally contaminate any of its moons. Juno on board has an instrument called Juno Cam, and it takes pictures of Jupiter, but it's also an outreach portion of this mission. And let's just show you briefly how. Juno Cam uploads these pictures of Jupiter to this website, and then you at home can go through some of these pictures, and if you find one that you think is kind of neat, you can then improve it. You can add your touch to it. Let's say you want to make some features stand out more. Let's just look at this one, the rose, for example. Someone, just like you at home, saw this picture from Juno Cam, and then they processed the image their own way. They made the red spot more red. And when they bring the colors out, or they hide others, it really shows you different layers of the planet that might not just be readily seen from a simple picture. And scientists with this mission look at these images to see features that they wouldn't have seen on their own because there are so many of them. It's just a way for you to connect. So see what others have uploaded already. Some of these incredible features, storms, clouds, the different colors, the shading of it all. There's so much to this. You really can get lost in this, but wanted to make sure we highlighted Juno Cam as part of the Juno mission here exploring Jupiter. So you can explore on your own and have a lot of fun. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them in the section below. Until then, next time, Space Cadets, keep looking up.